When we're still not aware about how the world works, we always have a part in our lives about things like, where does the government get money from constructing buildings? Or where do they get money from all the public services that helped us for free? Or the question like, how rich is the government? And then when we ask our parents about it, they would answer us that it's because we're paying taxes. But what is tax, by the way? Before that, I'll share to you first about the history of taxation so that we can have a little background on why taxation is made. The birth of taxes were levied in Greece and Rome. The first record started around 3000 BC, or before Christ. In Greece, every citizen is required to pay taxes or money to the state to buy weapons and army for wars. After a war ended, they stopped paying tax. And in Rome, the Romans paid taxes to contribute for the Roman Empire since it is expensive to run an empire. They also made or invented a lot of taxes. So that's when we also started paying taxes. Now let's talk about taxation. Taxation is a term for when a taxing authority, usually a government, levies or imposes a financial obligation on its citizens or residents. In easy terms, it refers to the practice of a government collecting money from the citizens to pay for public services, and we pay them based on our salary or income. And tax is the money that we people have to pay to the government. Now, why do we have to pay taxes? Best reason for this is for contribution for the benefit of every citizen. In order to get our needs for every individual, we need to contribute for our own good. Also in the government, they were the ones who provide the public services, such as police services and roads to the public. They also pay the salaries of the employees in the government, so everything came from the taxes we pay. We are obliged to pay taxes for our economy. If we don't pay taxes, then the world's economy will never grow and we will all be living in scarcity. Now we have understandings about taxation. Let's dwell on the types of taxes. We have two types of taxes. First, we have the direct tax, and second, we have the indirect tax. First, we have direct tax. Direct tax are taxes whose burden falls directly on taxpayers. The taxpayers are us individuals or an organization. The types of direct tax are income tax, wealth tax, property tax, and etc. An example for direct tax is when you receive your salary. Your salary is immediately deducted a percent of it to pay straight to the government. And that example is also what you call income tax. Income tax is a type of tax that governments impose on income generated by businesses and individuals with the jurisdiction. In simple terms, income tax pays through taxable profit earned by an individual or corporation. Income tax comes in two ways. First is the personal income tax. Personal income tax is a tax levied on wages, salaries, dividends, interest, and other income a person earns throughout the year. It is a type of tax that depends on your profit. In this case, deduction depends on your salary or profit. For example, if you have a salary of 30,000 to 70,000 pesos, then 50% is deducted. Second, we have corporate income tax. Corporate tax is a tax on the profits of a corporation and companies. The taxes are paid based on the profits and earnings of a company. For example, your profits from your sales. A percentage of it is deducted and will be sent directly to the government. And now that we're done on direct tax, let's tackle about indirect tax. Indirect tax are taxes that can be passed on to another entity or individual. It is not actually levied directly on the income of the taxpayer, but rather levied on the expenses incurred by them. If a taxpayer is paying in a product that he or she bought, then the taxpayer is already paying also the tax in it. A part of the payment of the product is shared in taxes and will be passed directly to the taxing authority. There are also types of indirect tax. First one, we have custom duty tax. Custom duty tax is a tax levied on imports or exports. For both import and export tax, a percent of their sales will be deducted and paid to the government. In short, taxes are imposed on goods when they are transported across international borders. Next, we have excise duty. Excise tax is a tax imposed on the sale of specific goods or services, or on certain uses. Next, we have sales tax, the common indirect tax. Sales tax is a tax paid based on the sales of certain goods and services. In simple terms, this depends on the consumer's purchase price of a good or service. Another one, we have service tax. Service tax is an indirect tax levied by the government on services offered by a service provider. And lastly, we have the value-added tax. Value-added tax is a consumption tax levied on a commodity whenever it adds value at any point in the supply chain. In taxes, there is always an advantage and disadvantage in it. One advantage is that taxes keep everyone safe. From the healthcare down to the road properties, government ensures that your taxes will be used to services and needs that can keep everyone safe. But there's always a disadvantage in it. What's negative about taxes is that other officials might misuse your taxes. So if we pay taxes, we should always make sure that our taxes are in good hands. And now that we're done talking about taxation, let's dwell on now to these two topics, tax evasion and tax avoidance. First is tax evasion. Tax evasion is using illegal means to avoid paying taxes. Those caught evading taxes are generally subject to criminal charges and penalties. This type of avoiding tax uses illegal activities. Example is when you're not paying full to your taxes or never paying at all. While on the other hand, tax avoidance is using legal means to minimize the amount of income tax owed by an individual or a business. Example is claiming many deductions and credits as are allowable. Paying our taxes are not need, but is a responsibility. If we want to have a better world to live in, we should contribute by paying taxes. After all, it's for our benefit or own good. Hi! Thank you for watching to my video again. And this is me, Nicole Nabua, and I'm back for another video. Hoping to see you soon. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much.